Okay, tell me one thing. How do you take up any challenge? Do you just take it for granted or do you rigorously work on it? Today I'm presenting a challenge before you, a 21-day speaking English challenge. You must have heard of it. If you want to make something a habit, for that you have to continuously do it or continuously work on it for the next 21 days. So if you are taking this as a challenge, or if I am giving you this as a challenge, that means you can't miss even a single day. What I'm going to share in this video, it may not be new to you because most of the people talk about it. I myself talk about it, or I have talked about it multiple times. And you think it's repeated, it's boring because everybody talks about it, so let's just don't follow it. But you forget one thing, you don't realize one thing. If everybody is talking about it or focusing on it, then it works. It indeed works and it is effective. That's the reason many of us talk about it, and that's the reason I've decided I'll keep this video short, precise and to the point. I'll be just focusing on some key areas so that you can write it down somewhere, you can note down some key points and you can work on it, because we have understood all these things enough and now it's all about implementing the things. This video is all about implementation. You have learned a lot, you have gathered knowledge from here and there from different places, and now it's only and only about putting it into action, which is where many of you tend to fall short. This video is entirely focused on speaking section because we all know speaking is the one thing, or it's something that really brings improvements. So let's dive right into the challenge and get started. Hi everybody, this is Tanya, your ESL coach. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. From day 1 to day 7, focus on basics. Now at the very first blush you might be wondering, what is basics? Is she going to talk about noun, pronoun, verbs and grammatical stuffs? So no my dear, as I said that this video is entirely focused on speaking section. So if I say that focus on basics, that is also related to your speaking. So what is basics, or what do I mean from basics here is that introduce yourself. See, I'm not saying that you don't know how to introduce yourself. You have to check yourself that whether it's good in your case, you can properly introduce yourself, you can confidently introduce yourself everywhere and to everybody or not. You have to figure these things out. So first I'm keeping as a point is introduce yourself or introducing. It's good for you in your case or not. Second is explaining your daily routine, because there are multiple things we do in a day, and whenever I get any basic students, the first question I always ask them, apart from the introduction and all, is that you explain your day, or how did the day treat you, or simply how was everything for you today. So I usually find them stuck, and this happens because you are not able to explain your daily routine. So the second step or second point is explaining your daily routine properly in the proper tense, because you get confused in tenses also, that which tense you have to speak. So if you're explaining this in evening, you are recording yourself, so obviously it's your past. So make sure what you are doing, okay? If you're explaining, suppose today is Wednesday and you're talking about Wednesday, so it's your past. If you talk about your daily routine as in a general manner, okay, generally what you do, that I wake up and all, so this is your simple present. You have to recognize all these things, and irrespective of the level you have to do it. It doesn't mean that you are at intermediate level, so you can explain or you can introduce yourself properly, or you can explain your day nicely, because there are always many things that you can add. You can use some variety of phrases, and you can make all these things beautiful. You can make all these things proper. Okay, as I promised you guys that I won't be explaining too much. So okay, the third point is learning some common expressions and dialogues. That means if you look at somebody and if you see, so okay, as we always start our conversation by, how was your day? So did you do this task? Yeah, I was just eating, so I couldn't call you back. So these are the normal and common expressions or dialogue, whatever you call it, that you use in your day-to-day life. So for that, what you have to do, whatever you speak or converse with anybody at your home or in your school, college, at your workplace, you have to keep those common sentences, expressions or dialogues in your head, and you have to translate all these things into your head itself. And then you have to let those things or sentences come into being. That means in implementation. Now another set from day 8 to day 14. I would name it as expand vocabulary. Again, I interrupt you. Don't think anything before I speak. So expanding vocabulary, I'm not really saying that you collect words, as I have said in many of my videos, that collect words make sentences. Because here, if you're taking it as a speaking challenge of yours, so expanding vocabulary means you have to pick up some topics in a way that can give you different vocabulary. Okay, so once I was having session with one of my learners, and we were doing a topic failure. So she asked me, I really liked her question, by the way. We finished our topic, and then she asked me that, ma'am, could you please give me some vocabulary related to this particular topic? So then I realized, means obviously I knew that earlier also, but I realized that, sometimes you forget few things, and when somebody really asks you suddenly, so you realize, you have that self-realization. So I also realized that whenever you discuss any topic, or you are conversing with yourself, or whatever you're doing, so for that you encounter many different vocabulary for that particular topic. So as I said, I already hinted you with one topic, that is failure. We were discussing that what is failure for you and all such things. Okay, then you can take some simple topics as well. Shopping, with shopping also you have different vocabulary, hobbies, habits. So take some topics that can bring you some good vocabulary, or you can add it into your dictionary. Then you have a topic, travel. So travel related also you may have a certain vocabulary or different variety of sentences and expressions. The how you direct others, means you give directions to others. These things very, very important. Okay, you have to do all these things. And yes, in these days only, from day 8 to 14, you have to give yourself a good exposure of English language. That means English shows you would be watching, and it's not hidden from anybody that you have to, or it's not untold, I would say, that you have to watch these English shows with subtitles. That is how you started with. So watch English shows and podcasts, really, really helpful. Like, I just can't praise it enough. It's really helpful. So English podcasts or English shows, animated stories that I have always been talking about. So just give yourself a good exposure. Now, interesting one, day 15 to day 21. What do you have to do here? It's all about your advanced practice. What is your advanced practice? It's role plays. Okay, role plays means I'm sitting here, we have a situation, and we are speaking on it. See, you may be having different situation. You may be in, like, whenever I talk about role plays, I don't know, few things or some certain things come into my head, and that's yours. Shopping, restaurant, or malls. Okay, same thing, shopping or malls. So these things come into my head, but for you it could be different things. Like, suppose you invited a guest, and then how would you be conversing with that guest? So you have to make a role play out of it. Or let's say if you are a college going student or school going student, so you would be having HODs. So how can you converse with your HOD for a particular topic? You can make a role play out of it again. If you are at your workplace, so manager, boss, employee, they all have a very good relationship, right? Means you have a good connection, you can create a good dots there. So again, you make a role play out of it. So these things you have to find out, you have to test yourself, and you have to work on all these role plays. How would you be doing that? I always say, like, as I'm going to conclude this video today, or the topics that I'm talking about, or the points that I'm talking about, so for that I would say, you can't do things alone. You need someone to be with you. And if you can't do it, then you are enough for yourself. So again, I'm going to talk about some repeated things. You agree, you don't, you are ready to accept it, you don't, you admit it, you don't, it's your choice. But let me tell you, film yourself, that means record yourself, audio, video, whatever you want. Filming is better option. Mirror practice is there, talking to yourself, ChatGPT, shadowing method, and what I'm leaving, or joining a community, which is something, people always consider it like a burden. But yeah, there are 5 to 6 things you can do to yourself, and it's really like a boon for you. It's such a beautiful gift that you can, or someone can ever gift themselves. So do all these things and you're done. Now I might be getting some comments that, are you serious that 21 days are sufficient for you to be a good speaker? So read the title and thumbnail, caption, and whatever you call it properly. I'm not saying that 21 days are enough for you. I'm just saying that 21 days are very good, or is such a good way and method to give you a habit. Because when, as like, you must have watched my, or you might have watched my previous video, so sorry, I got distracted by a message where I have talked about habits. So learning a language, it's very important for you to get the things into your habit, and when it becomes a habit for you, it becomes so easier that you don't even realize how things are working out in your case, and how you're actually learning, and you're just getting immersed into it. So after 21 days also, you don't have to stop doing all these things. It's a challenge for you just to get you a habit, but you have to keep doing it until you feel good about it, or you can't feel good about it. I'm really sure. So if someone asks me that, Tanya, are you good with your English, I would say I'm not. I have to work on it. I have to master it. I have to do so much into it. There are a lot of things that I have still not done. So I never think that there could be any full stop of it. You have to keep doing it, and that's what I wanted to say in this video. I hope it would help you. Just take one page. I think whatever I said in this video, one page is sufficient to write all the things. So write everything, write it like a point, so that it will be good for you to make a tick mark, and it will always be reminding you, or it will help you to recall the things you have to do. And if you can compile all the things in one page, it becomes so much easier for you, and you can stick it on the wall too, right? So yeah, that's what I just wanted to say in this video, and thank you so much, guys. See you in the next video. Till then, bye bye.